Did you know that a secret war is currently going on in the dark basement of the White House that may even outshine the biggest mystery stories you know? Just to prepare a simple meal, 30 people are involved in a 96-hour secret mission and all the security that seems more complicated than maintaining a nuclear missile. Yes, the security of these presidents' meals is no less than that of a nuclear bomb, but you will understand it later. So let's take a look at what food President Trump eats and how his food is prepared through a mysterious mission. At the beginning of this great sacrifice for President Trump in the White House, first a chef in a dark basement looks at a spreadsheet that looks like a military attack plan. It says at what minute and second which ingredients will arrive, which oven will cook which food, and the deadly precise temperatures for 20 different dishes that all have to be prepared at the same time. A master chef and 29 other kitchen staff will be serving up America's tastiest food. But before all this madness begins, this massive operation stops for just one bird. Yes, just one turkey. But this is no ordinary turkey. This is America's most important bird. You can now see a giant turkey walking through the gleaming marble lobby of the Willard Intercontinental Hotel. It is arguably the most expensive guest. The National Turkey Federation is paying thousands of dollars cash for 2 separate luxury rooms with plastic sheeting on the floor, royal feeding stations, and dedicated staff working shifts day and night to ensure that these birds live a royal life. And this is where the real story begins, because these are no ordinary turkeys. By the time they arrive at the White House, they weigh almost 3 times the weight of an ordinary turkey. That's 20 kilograms. They are genetically engineered to look amazing on camera, but the funny thing is that they can hardly walk. Not only that, these birds are given rigorous training for months, so that these birds do not get scared in the midst of bright lights, sudden loud noises, and huge crowds of screaming people. Even these birds are played music. Classical music keeps them calm. Some music makes them extremely aggressive. Some music makes them completely confused. But the mysterious thing that no one tells is that there is a Secret Service agent whose mission is to physically examine this turkey down to the millimeter. They check if there is any secret weapon hidden under the wings. Check if there is any sharp object on the legs. This checking is not only for security, the real reason is much more embarrassing. The birds are not allowed to eat anything for exactly 12 hours after leaving the hotel. Because if the Turkish president defecates on it right in the middle of a live broadcast, that moment will be history forever, so such risks are never taken. But while the whole world is staring in awe at this celebrity bird, the real battle begins in the secret kitchen of the White House. At 5 a.m., the kitchen is transformed into a high-tech crime lab and military war room. No cooking has started yet, only the security check has begun. Every tiny ingredient of the food has to pass the brutal security screening that is used only on suspicious packages sent to the president. Yes, every ingredient that will be used in the president's food goes through rigorous testing from its source to its entry into the White House kitchen. Where do the vegetables come from? What farm does the meat come from? The entire history of these is checked before it enters the kitchen. Even the background of the truck driver who brings them is investigated. When a delivery truck is on its way, if it makes the slightest mistake and stops at an authorized place, the shipment is canceled. The exterior of each package is checked when it enters the kitchen for any sign that it has been opened midway. They are then checked for any small holes or resealing. They are then checked with a metal detector. They are then tested for chemical and microbial identification, so that there are no toxic substances or harmful bacteria. If necessary, the presence of radioactive substances is also checked. Finally, the temperature is checked to ensure that no ingredients have been spoiled during storage. Only after this entire process are those ingredients transferred to the White House's own sterile containers. Yes, the job of the White House chefs is not just to cook. They also play the role of a security guard. Each path goes through many stages of testing from the moment before cooking until it reaches the table. For example, the temperature of the steak grilled for the president is measured as soon as it is taken out of the oven. If the temperature is not at least 165 degrees Fahrenheit, it must be put back in the oven, because according to federal food safety regulations, it is necessary for the meat to be cooked to this temperature. In this way, the correct temperature and quality of every item from soups, vegetables, to desserts are ensured. Even if a curry or soup is a little colder or hotter than ideal, steps are taken immediately to fix it. A chef only keeps an eye on the president's plate at all times. His job is not to serve, but to make sure that whatever is in front of the president is perfectly prepared and safe. However, after a huge feast, as the clock strikes 2 a.m., the eerie silence in the dark basement of the White House is broken by the sound of an oven timer. The turkey goes into the oven. For the next 13 hours, no one can step out of this room, not even to the bathroom. If the power fluctuates for just a second, a huge commotion starts. Another interesting thing is that the president has to pay for his personal meals out of his own pocket. Yes, like the Trump family, the president's personal meal bill comes from the president's annual salary. The White House's chief financial officer prepares a bill for the entire budget at the end of the month. How many eggs have been used, how many pounds of meat or vegetables have been consumed is written in that bill, as if the entire account is clear like a restaurant bill. It's amazing to think about, isn't it? Even at the highest level in the country, he has to pay for his family's dinner himself, so that the people's tax money is not wasted. At the end of the day, when the president's meal is served on the table, the entire staff is still holding their breath. Trump may finish the meal calmly. Maybe he gives a compliment or says that it was great, but he does not know how many levels of scrutiny and planning a simple soup or steak has already gone through before it comes to him. The president calmly gets up from the dining table and goes to the next task. And then the White House kitchen team takes a deep breath. Another day's mission is successfully completed, but there is no chance for much rest. They immediately jump back into preparing for the next day's new work, because every meal of the president is a special operation whose behind-the-scenes story may be as dramatic and surprising.